Let's talk relationship right here on Prime Morning. Hello, guys. Good morning to you. I love the fact that we had a birthday message from Nigeria. And so if you're watching us from Nigeria, big shout outs to you. If you're watching us from any other parts of outside of Ghana, big shout outs to you and a beautiful good morning to you as well. My name is Dua Akumia. It's time for us to get into our topic for discussion today on Let's Talk Relationship. But get ready to be interactive with us on all our social media platforms. But on Facebook, do not forget that you have to hit the share button. Today, we are going to discuss dealing with this whole misunderstandings, trying to manage yourself within denominational marriages. It's something that happens, but quite often it's not really talked about. But within ourselves, it's happening, and quite a number of people are having issues here and there. You have some churches that would not even allow you marry outside of your church. It has to be within the church. But the question lies in, what could be the reason? Why would your pastor, your man of God, your woman of God not want you? Why would she or he not want you to marry outside of the church? Well, I've got the perfect people to have this discussion with, to share the nuggets, all the wisdom nuggets that you need, all the various explanations that you need in relation to this particular topic. But if you have any experience at all, you can share that with us on our WhatsApp number 055-157-5757. To introduce my guest to you, I always love being biased, and so I'm going to do ladies first. I love the fact that she is not a stranger to multimedia. I found out today that she's worked with us before, and she was telling us that it was actually when multimedia started, when we were very small. When multimedia was very little. So this is like 30 years ago. My goodness. I have in the person Reverend Marilyn Opoku Echampong, and she is the Senior Associate Pastor, Living Springs International Church. Good morning.
Good morning, dear.
How are you?
I'm blessed, and you?
I am happy, I am blessed. I'm excited to have you.
I'm also happy to be here.
Yes.
Especially it's been way back.
Way back.
I don't know if I get to the newsroom, I might be able to recognize anybody.
You have to. Afterwards, we will take you on a tour.
That would be great.
Yes, we'll take you on a tour so you can, inhale some of the new stuff that is happening right now in most.
It's nice being here. Yeah.
Yes, great to have you. Great to have you.
Thank you.
And our male guest, ladies and gentlemen, he's no stranger to us at all. He's a father, he's a brother, he's a man of God that we love so much. I'm talking about Prophet Moses Benisan, and he is the head pastor, the founder of Family Altar Ministry. Hi, Prof.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good.
It's
How are
always
you?
good to see you.
Thank you.
You make the morning bright.
Right.
Thank you very much. Thank you. How have you been?
It's been exciting, and we just had our 7th church anniversary. So,
Oh, congratulations.
yes, we had an amazing time in the presence of God.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I wish I was there. But maybe when it was happening, I was probably also busy.
We know.
Because now I'm too occupied with a lot of
condolences.
things. Thank
Mommy,
you.
she's lost the dad.
Oh,
Yes.
may the Lord strengthen you.
Yes.
Okay. My condolences.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much. Thank you very much. So the funeral will be on the 3rd of May, my dad's hometown. Yes, the 3rd of May at Isumeja, Asante Bekwai. So I'll be sharing details with everybody very, very soon. So please, if you love me, find your way to the Ashanti region, Asante Bekwai, Isumeja. That's where my dad's funeral, he will be laid to rest there on the 3rd of May. I do my best not to be emotional. I've been very strong, I've been very strong. I've been doing my best to be very strong for my viewers as well. So, yeah. Anyways, let's talk relationship. When the topic came out, not a lot of people would really understand when we say denominational marriages. Not a lot of people would easily understand what exactly it means. So, Reverend Marilyn, I would want to start with you, if you can help us better understand.
Well, I think we are looking at interfaith marriages. We are looking at intermarrying amongst, for instance, among churches, among Christians. We are all one body. That is what we assume.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Exactly.
One spirit, one baptism. That is what we assume. However, human beings, we are not, how do I say it? We are not the same. We differ. Even in terms of personalities, we have different personalities, we have different upbringing, we have different experiences, different horizon among others. So we carry ourselves differences before we come into marriage. And then we are also coming from different churches. So it means that I am a charismatic. Luckily over here, Prophet is also from that background, so we have similarities. So we have, I would say that our doctrines are going to be the same. We have our governance systems, our structures in line, and everything affects the way we operate, we function. Okay. However, when I marry let's assume that I'm now about to marry, and I decide to marry somebody from, let's say, the Catholic. Definitely, they have different, how do I say, the doctrines in which they run their church. And so here is it that you find yourself going to marry somebody who is coming from a different faith, with different practices, different beliefs, different values. There are things they value so much. We value the Holy Spirit. We value, what is it?
Speaking in tongues.
Speaking in tongues, there are a lot of things that we value. However, I marry you, you are from Catholic, and speaking of tongues, it's not part of, you may even punish me. So assuming that we marry, years ago when I was a young guy, I met this young guy, it was good. He wanted to marry me. It was okay. However, he was coming, I don't want to mention the name of the church, but he was coming from a background where they do not speak in tongues. For me, tongue speaking is breakfast for me. When I wake up in the morning, I blow tongues, then I'm gone. When I'm about to sleep. So imagine I wake up in the morning and you ask me, what language is this? And you decide, because you are the head of the house, because when you marry, you know that the Christian
as a woman, you have to submit, and
so he's the head, so he can demand that, hey, I forbid you, or you shouldn't speak in this language. What do? Everybody is religious. It's life. Religion for us as Africans is life to us. And so when somebody takes you after the person has killed you. So it's not as easy as it is. So this is a serious subject, I think, that we need to delve into it well, because it creates a lot. I've had situations where somebody will, even from the beginning, will say, oh, fine, it's okay, let's go. However, along the line, the person tells you, no, you either choose marriage or you leave your church. And sometimes it happens. I was listening to one particular station that from the beginning or onset, the lady said, this is what... Also, it's not an issue. When the person agreed, along the line, they married. Now the person is insisting that in our church, we must go to church together, and you have to convert, be the same, partake in our defense. We have different practices. So that is one thing. The first thing I would say, that the practice, we have different practices.
It's so strange, and that's the point I want to come to, Prophet Moses. It's so strange. I mean, yes, we have different practices and all, but at the end of the day, the question that somebody would ask, are we not serving the same God?
We are serving the same God, but in different ways. Okay, when it comes to spirituality, it is based on individual experience and encounter. Even the pillars there are 4 pillars that was used to canonize the Bible. Okay, we have the pillar of revelation. There are things in this Bible that were individual revelations put together. Okay, then there are things in the Bible that are cultural or traditional. Okay, they are also in the Bible. For instance, women should tie their hair, is cultural. And so there are, Abraham, for instance, had to take his house help when the wife was not given birth. It is their tradition, so it's accepted.
It's allowed for you to
do allowed in their culture. So there are things in the Bible that are cultural, Then there are things in the Bible that are reasoning. The Bible, God himself said, come, let us reason together. The Bible says Abraham reasoned that though his body was as good as dead, yet God can raise the dead. So he had faith in God. Okay, so, but the last one is experiences or encounters. For instance, Moses encountered God at the burning bush. Paul encountered God on the road of Damascus. You can go to that road of Damascus and not have that encounter.
Yes.
You can go to the mountain where Moses encountered God at the burning bush and not have that encounter. Their encounter has been documented to serve as a guide for us that God reveals himself in different ways to different people. As relevant as their experiences are, our experience is also very relevant. We can argue about theology. We cannot argue about encounter or experiences. So though we are serving the same God, but how did he reveal himself to you, the individual, and etc.? So it's the same God, but we are looking at things from different perspectives and different denominations. Now, denominations come about based on experiences of the person who started it. So we have different denominations, and each denomination has their set of beliefs and rituals and things they do and practices. These practices and rituals and things they believe in, they hold it so dear to themselves. Why? Because they want to preserve it so they can pass it on to future generations, from one generation to the other. Once it's an experience, it becomes very, like, people take it very serious. They don't want to disassociate themselves from it. But whilst it's the same God, the difference is that we have all had different experiences. So like Mommy said, I predominantly have a Catholic background. My father Catholic, my mother Catholic. How come I've become a charismatic pastor? I'll tell you the story. My brother got converted from Catholic into a charismatic church. My father and my mother drove him out of the house. They said, no way, you can't do those practices here. And one of them is speaking in tongues. They said they are mad people. They've gone, there's something wrong with them. So they drove my brother out of the house for 9 years.
What?
Yes, 9 years. After 9 years, he came back to visit, but his demeanor has changed. My brother used to be very ragged, and he belonged to the, during the military era, there was this scout group that were trained to be like armies, and they do all their rituals like official scout. So my brother was one of the leaders. He was very rigid and very regimented. Like if you say A, it has to be A. But when he returned after 9 years, they saw visible change in him. He has become so understanding, so loving, so caring. And I remember my mother said, now I know you have met God, and I want you to pray for me because I want your God. Yes, so my mother gave her life to Christ. We also followed, gave our life to Christ. From there, the transformations started. So gradually, I also came to believe in the God that he encountered. And I've had my own personal encounters. I started speaking in tongues as well. So you can't take me away from speaking in tongues. It has become part of my experience, and my experience is very important. So therefore, when I started speaking in tongues and etc., at the end of the day, that is my story. and how God revealed himself to me as an individual.
Yes.
So when I'm going to marry, I take into consideration that I speak in tongues.
Yes.
And my spouse who is coming must also understand that the person I'm going to marry
can wake up anytime and start blowing in tongues.
One young lady I listened to last week, they said, what is a red flag for you? She said, a man who cannot speak in tongues.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yes. So,
that's interesting.
So the same God, but who has revealed himself in different ways to us.
Okay.
That is what makes all the different denominations what they are.
Reverend Marilyn, when you are planning on getting married or you meet somebody, you're highly interested in the person. But then for some reason, their beliefs and your beliefs, especially because you are in different denominations, don't tally. But then there's love. You feel that, connection with that person. Should you consider and say that I wouldn't want any problems in the future, so let me just stay in my one corner?
This is a dicey thing. I think for me, based on where I'm coming from and my understanding, I think that would be an issue for me. So I would rather prefer that. Issue. I mean, love. Marriage takes more than love. Yes. It goes beyond love.
Yes.
Sometimes today you feel, tomorrow you don't feel.
Yeah.
What else? There must be commitment. What are other things that are going to hold you both? To?
Yeah. Yeah.
And some of the practices, can we go to church together? Can we talk about this together? When the love is not there, can you still? Okay? And so, with this, so even when you feel you love that person, like Prophet said, you are coming from a home and your family, some denominations, they raise their children, they expect that all their children should
toe the same.
It's generational.
Yeah.
And so when you step out from the confines of where they want you to be, you are going to create conflict. There's going to be tension.
Yeah.
And marriage is not only the two of you. It's a whole package. The whole family is part of it. You don't marry me and take me out of my family. My siblings are part of the marriage.
Yes.
My parents are part.
Yes.
Once they are alive, they are part. And so all of them, imagine you're going to live in an environment of hostility, animosity, just because you are not part of what, you don't fellowship with us. And so for me, once your parents start saying, we don't want you to marry somebody from this faith,
then
sometimes you need to, unless you can talk them out, try to make them understand that this person is a good person, is a different person, in spite of this, it's not going to be an issue. If you're able to convince them, you're able to add prayer to it. But the faith aspect is important. Can we share the same? Do we share the same faith?
Yeah.
Because we must do it together. Imagine, how are we going to raise our kids? Are my kids going to go to my church or going to go to your church?
That's another question.
If we have our rituals, our practices, are they going to be confirmed or baptized? You need to look at all this.
So even with the whole
with
the baptism thing, I heard that some say the sprinkling of the water alone is not baptism. Others would want to be immersed in the water. And that is what the Prophet
was saying, you experience how God revealed to you and what the Bible, your understanding of the Bible.
Yeah.
We have these doctrines all come about because of what? This understanding, the revelation that a person had. I read John 3:16 is just a simple thing there for us. You read, God says, somebody reads it and gets it. He says, this is my revelation. That is my understanding. And that is what I give it to my people. So somebody will read and say that, because Jesus Christ cast the swine into this, and it means that you don't have to eat pork. So the founder of the church, and that is his revelation, this understanding of the word.
Yes. And
so for years, to follow. And so you can imagine for centuries, everybody told that same thing. We don't eat pork because I read the scripture, Jesus cast demons into the distance. Or somebody written, so because Aaron, they took the earrings of the ladies, the women, and then made them out of it, a calf for image. For that, we say that our women, you should not wear earrings. So and for centuries, people have not. Or like Prophet said from the culture, they say that you read, women should not wear what? We should put on scarf. Women should not. The other time somebody was preaching, I was listening. Women who wear trousers. I said, go to America, go to London, friends, saying in the early part of the year and see, you cannot wear skirts. Even if you don't want to wear trousers, you are forced to wear it. So you can't stand it. Nobody wears skirts there at that time. So how do you use and different cultures? You go to Nigeria, and it's a man who wears skirts. That traditional men, yes. So how do you say the woman should wear trousers? I mean, it misses my understanding. You see the thing. So sometimes even the cultural selves will not. So this thing, we must look at it.
And it's because we have not really understood the Bible very well. That in the Bible is someone's culture. And culture differs from place to place.
So like it's their way of life, their practices.
You go to a place in the, and men wear skirts.
Some places it's women who marry men.
Like India.
It's women who marry men. Do you know that originally it's men who used to wear high heels, not women?
Where is this one coming from?
You go somewhere, it's men who cook. The women are outside.
So
different cultures.
Well, I know that ancient Egypt, men used to put on makeup. In ancient Egypt. So, like, the whole evolution of makeup and, you know, people chastising women for putting on makeup and men used to do it back then in Egypt.
So you need to look at it. Is it a cultural something? Or is it the word itself? Is it what God? Or is it man? And you know, I will tell you the most, Bible is the man who wrote it, isn't it? In a patriarchal society. And so sometimes they put their destiny, their agenda, then inside. And so, for instance, in marriage, you marry somebody and the person is coming from a conservative, traditional background. They have roles specific. That a man's role is this, a woman's role is this. There's nothing like equality. There is nothing like... So you've married somebody coming from such a background. Your church, you are just liberal in a way. Whoever can, anybody can talk. But this person, this is their church. Sorry, dear. Sir, your Bible, no, your understanding. They say, Obama, dear, Nejmeni, Obadi, Nejmeni. And so imagine you close from work, you have come, you are so tired. But because of the person you have married and his...
Get up and cook, regardless of how tired you are.
Yeah, but when I went to outside, I see that whoever comes can cook. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I see that the woman is going to work. And the man prepares something. Is there anything wrong? So you marry somebody coming from this faith, and they say that for us, we are deeply entrenched. So conservative. That is what the Bible says. A woman, this is your rule. A man, this is your rule. So all this matters. Before you marry the person, you must talk out.
Speak about
the communication, which we don't do because we say love is blind. So when you love somebody at that particular time, you overlook everything. You don't want to question. You don't want to talk.
And even with what you mentioned earlier, that you if you can convince your parents that this person is a good person, he loves me, he can take care of me, regardless of his denomination. Then the parents agree, you can marry. But what if 5 years, 10 years to come, he wants to, enforce what has been imbibed in him?
Because even sometimes the society or even the family will put pressure on him. Let your wife convert to be.
Yes.
She must also come and do, when we are doing the confirmation or whatever, she must also do it. If we are veiling, she must also veil.
Wow. So this is the point where I want us to come into marriages that are like this now.
So I think that we have to spell out clearly that as much as it's not a sin to marry cross-denomination, there are real challenges.
Okay.
Yes, and some of those challenges what mommy has. I don't know, I mean, even, I come from a very traditional, typical background family. Okay, so we do what is called the depot. At a certain age, the women have to do this thing. But because of our Christian faith, we made a decision. We don't do those things.
Yes.
We don't do those things. Then you marry. And then they said that, hey, we are very traditional. We want it
we are
to
Christians,
be done.
but it's part of our
our tradition.
That's one thing that confuses me. We are Christians. We are following being Christians. But there lies tradition, and we have to follow that deeply.
Those people are there. Sometimes somebody dies, and they want to. They said we are going to make inquiry. What killed the person? We are Christians, but this is our tradition. Our beliefs. So that belief is part of their Christian belief. So these things are things you talk about at the early stages of the relationship. You are madly in love with the person, but marriage is not just about love. Your mind must also work. You must think, because when men in particular want something, they are easy to say, oh, it's okay, it's fine. Don't worry. But they know that once they they have the upper hand, I'm now your husband. You have to do what I tell you to do.
Now you have entered the marriage.
Marriage.
Choose. Maybe you are pregnant already. Choose between the marriage or...
Yeah. So there are cultural beliefs you must understand.
Yeah.
Not understanding that can bring confusion between you blending into the family of that you are marrying into. Number two, there are also community reactions. People, when you decide not to practice the
pressure,
they'll put pressure on you. They'll see you as proud. They will see you as deviant. They will see you as somebody who is arrogant, who is disrespectful. And they will put all kinds of labels on you. So as much as you didn't know this is going to be part of the journey, it becomes part of the journey. How do you handle that? There is also parental control, where the parents of your spouse feels like you have to do what your son is telling you to do.
Prof, I want you to hold that thought. We'll continue. So I'm encouraging each and every one of you, if you have an experience one way or the other in relation to the topic that is being discussed here, take our WhatsApp number 055-157-5757. Send it to us. Share it with us. What are your thoughts, your experiences about cross-denominational marriages? So let me read one message, and then Prof can continue. It says, good morning, PhD Asari, okay? Hello, Asari, from Adentan. He says some women fake when it comes to marriage, to get married. It's not for boys and girls. Marriage is for matured people. Oh, you men also fake it. you men also fake it. Everybody, you all want to be married. So yes, both men and women fake it at the end of the day. So I'm encouraging you to send in your messages. Let me go to Prof so he continues what he was saying.
Yes, but sometimes I also understand that when it comes to marriages, two marriages are not the same. Okay, Samson wanted to marry from the Philistines.
Yes.
And his parents called a meeting. They said, listen to me carefully. You are our son, our hero. God have told us not to marry from the Philistine people. So we are not going to agree. Then the Bible put it in bracket. They didn't know it was the will of God. So as much as, yes, the general rule is that when you are entering into interdenominational marriage, there are going to be challenges. It's also not a sin, and it also doesn't mean that God cannot at any given time decide that I'm using you to break a certain barrier. Okay, so that is there. So in the situation of Samson, he married successfully into the Philistine tribe. But how did it end? It didn't end well. Though God was behind it, it still didn't end well. Because it's very sensitive. There are issues to consider. If you get emotional about them, there is no way it will work unless you are willing to comply, willing to let everything go, willing to make all the sacrifices in the world. It can work for you, but it comes with challenges.
My goodness, it really does come with challenges, doesn't it? I mean, I can't wait for, for you to share your experiences with us. I would really, really love to read them. Or if you have my phone number, please send it to me on my WhatsApp number. Let me read it out during Let's Talk Relationship. Reverend Marilyn, early on, I did mention that, okay, now you have entered. The man promised you, the woman promised you, oh, it's not a problem, it will not be a problem. Now you have to deal with it, dealing with such a situation. Maybe you've got kids now. Now there's a situation also. Let me bring this story. I have a friend who is from an Anglican background, married to a man who has a Catholic background. Now, when you sit back, you would think that, oh, Catholic and Anglican, they have certain things in common. But then it looks like there are some slight differences with certain things. Now, they have kids, and the issue here is my friend still wants her kids to be Anglicans, but her husband's mother is insisting that the children be brought up as Catholics. She is insisting. And sometimes it becomes an issue, especially on Sundays when, which church are we going to attend? Are you going to attend mine, or are you going to attend yours? So at some point she had to do compromising, where she would sacrifice herself and follow the man, take along the kids and go to the Catholic church, and maybe once in a while attend her Anglican
Because
church.
with the Catholic, you have to do prenuptial vow before you can marry from a different denomination. And that is 3. Number 1, you have to promise that you are not going to abandon your Catholic values. Number 2, you have to also promise to respect the beliefs of your spouse. Number 3, you have to promise the bishop that your children will be raised as Catholics. Yes.
And it is this point that I remember that it was a Catholic priest that blessed their marriage.
Yes.
A Catholic bishop that... Oh, it makes sense now.
So that is it. So in such a situation, you either compromise or...
Yeah. You have to
for the sake of the children, for the sake of the marriage.
Yeah, your peace of mind also.
So you may, but I've seen situations like that. In the end, they have to give up their own. But how would you be feeling? That is why right from the beginning, you must know. That's why this particular program is very essential. At least it's going to educate people. Before you step out, you know what to expect. Would you want to enter with knowing all these things? Because you love the person. You're in love. Because you love the person. How long would that go? So what you've already answered, you may have to compromise, and especially women are always compromising. We always are. The man will not compromise. Yes. Except one out of how many? I mean, because the man loves you so much, but how many of them? And especially, like Pastor said, if your parents are putting pressure, so much pressure, undue pressure on you, you may not. And so women have to think along this. It's not just only about love. Love is good. But you also need to know, how do you hold this together? Can you? Because I've had situations where people, we know, I mean, within a short time, they've scattered, they dissolve. Wow. Because for how long is he going to sacrifice? Abandoning what he or she is used to, abandoning what he or she grew up. So it means that right from the beginning, talk about this, communicate this well. Find out, what do you expect when we are married? What kind of lesson are we going to, talk about faith, talk about religion. Talk about beliefs, practices. How do you people, like I told you earlier, the moment I got to know that they don't speak in tongues, now I'll tell them. So ask you, usually the dating time is where people need to get information. But no, that's why they start sleeping around. No. That's why we need to know whether this one we can hold it together, we can bond, we can be intimate. Is this person who is open? Is this person is transparent? You talk to the person, get to know the person's horizon, his mentality, the mind here, and just more thing. It goes beyond the person you see physically. The person's mindset, no. What does he see? Does he believe in a relationship, a relational type of marriage, or self-individualistic type of person? Somebody who married a person or individualistic.
Yeah, instead of we, he's doing me.
It's only me, it's me. How would you be able to remain in such a, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So there is a time, usually during the dating time, that you need to find out the person's mindset. How does the person see marriage? Only the person does not see marriage as one. Everybody will be at the no. Okay, you're born so one. He never says us, it's me, always. You see, so once you are dating and you hear, it's I, making me die, my business, my this, is telling you this is the mindset of the person. It's not going to be us. And you are not going to change the person. That is how the his personality is not here. So Bible says that even when it comes to marriage, God tells men that dwell with women with what? With understanding. In other words, you must have knowledge upon the person you're going to marry. Have a knowledge of the person. Understand the person. I tell people that when I was in the secondary school, back then, I struggled to get maths. I wrote maths 3 times, but at a point I have to, because I didn't like maths. Yeah. But at a point, because I had to pass before you can go to the sixth form, I have to start what? Studying. Yeah. So study the person. Yeah. Get a knowledge of the personality. What kind of personality is this person? And the personality no. At the same. Is it something that you can live with? Is it something you can adapt? Is it something you can compromise?
If not, please.
Also, dwell with women with understanding. For me, I say it's not only men who have to dwell with women. Everybody you want to live with, everybody you want to work with, everybody, for you to be able to enjoy that relationship, have peace of mind, you must have a knowledge of the person, understand who the person is, so that you can adapt or work.
Wow, let me read this message, and it reads, marriage is work. Let everybody understand before we get into it. Love and looks is not enough, just like Reverend Merlin says. It's not enough to sustain a marriage. Denominational differences can be worked out when both parties are willing to make the marriage work. The God factor is important if you are a Christian. Good morning to you and your panel. God bless you. God bless you too for your message this morning. Prof, briefly, we are pressed for time, so let's just say something. You know, I wish we had enough time, because there's also the instance of both of you are Christians, but one person might have had an experience, you were talking about experiences, an experience that did not sit so well when it comes to going to church. Yes. And so he or she is now has stopped going to church. But would stay home and read the Bible, will stay home and pray. He has his own understanding and knowledge about the Bible. But then you two, here you are, you're a church goer, you love going to church, you are a church worker, you know, all those things. But then there's also this love that you are trying to avoid in the relationship. That is also present. But before that, let me read this message. Good morning, I'm Enoch from La Paz. And honestly, I'm really enjoying today's discussion on the interdenominational differences in marriage. A big thanks to our guests for these insightful expositions. Yep. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, good morning. Marriage is complicated today. Both will agree on something later. One will change the idea. The wearing of trousers by ladies, I don't agree that's to me. Both have to talk out their rules for agreement. I tell you, both have to do that. Okay, all right. Yes, Prof, please address that quickly for me.
I would say that when it comes to marriage, my point is this, the Bible says, can two walk together except they agree? It comes to agreement. We agree that this is what we want to do. And once we have agreed, then we must be willing to make all the sacrifices to make it work, because marriage is not an easy journey, and we didn't decide to create marriage. It was created by God. What makes it work is already there. It can't work without agreement. So how do we strike agreement? Irrespective of the situation we find ourselves in, there is no situation that we can never find an agreement. So let's find agreement. Let that which we want to accomplish, achieve, lead, not emotional biases. And because when it comes to emotions, people just can be on and off, on and off. So it has to be a decision you have made that my marriage will work. And I'm going to make it work. If it works, it depends on me. I'll make the sacrifices to make it work.
This is really beautiful.
There's not one person saying it, because one person saying I want to work will not work. It's
it
two people.
Both of us.
Commitment coming from both of
them. Okay, viewers, we hope that you enjoyed today's discussion on Let's Talk Relationship right here on Prime Morning. It's been very insightful. It's been an eye-opener. We hope that we will continue this conversation, God willing, next week, Thursday, on Let's Talk Relationship. My guests have been amazing. Thank you so much. Reverend Marilyn Opoku Ajiman, thank you for being here. Opoku Echampon, sorry. Opoku Echampon. And we hope to have you here next week. Okay. That will be lovely to have you. And then Prophet Moses Benisan, thank you as usual for your time this morning. That's it. My name is Asiatua Akomia. I didn't do this alone. Roslyn Felly was here with me earlier as well. And so we come your way again tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday, so get ready to join us on Zoom on Prime Morning. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.